In the spring of 1989, were you present in the Menendez home when you had a discussion with Erik Menendez about Lyle Menendez's hairpiece?
Yes. I believe Erik started the conversation. He was kind of joking because he was amazed that Lyle all this time had the hairpiece.
When you had the conversation with Erik Menendez, you think it might have been the summer?
Late spring, early summer.
You had said earlier spring or summer.
I think it was the spring.
What months?
March or April.
Would it have been a visit that you made to California with Lyle Menendez?
Correct. When I came to visit California, it was usually for at least a week, sometimes two.
So you think that this was a week or 2 weeks that you were here, either March or April?
Could have been in the month of April, yes.
How did the conversation get started?
Erik brought it up. He was kind of laughing, and he was surprised that he never knew before, and that he just thought Lyle always had perfect hair.
This conversation was March or April of 1989.
Yes.
You were working at that time, weren't you?
Correct. I was a waitress at a Mexican restaurant too.
Casa Lupita.
That was it.
You would look at the calendar. Does it appear that there's only one period in March in which you were not working for a period of time over a weekend?
Yes.
The only Saturday you were not working was the 25th of March. So the only period that would have been available for a trip of more than 2 days to California would have been the period of the 22nd through the 27th of March. And this restaurant was in New Jersey.
Yes.
Were you ever present at the Beverly Hills house when Mrs. Menendez's car was stolen?
I do not remember.
And if I told you that Mrs. Menendez's car was stolen on March 24th, which is the only weekend in that 2-month period you weren't working, does that suggest to you that maybe you weren't there that weekend?
It could have been stolen.
Do you know what the Easter Bowl is?
It is a tennis tournament in Florida.
Do you know that the Easter Bowl in 1989 was played from March 17th to March 25th? Do you know that Erik Menendez played in the Easter Bowl?
No, I don't recall.
And do you know that Mr. and Mrs. Menendez accompanied him to the Easter Bowl in Miami? If Erik Menendez was at the Easter Bowl March 17th to March 25th, does it seem unlikely that he was home for the conversation you've related?
I have not stated that I had a conversation with Erik on that weekend that you are alluding to.
You said it was either March or April.
It could have been late February.
If I show you were working every weekend in February, would you then move back to January?
I don't recall the exact time of this conversation.
If I prove to you that you weren't there in January, will you then go back to December of '88?
Tell me everything you can remember about this conversation.
What sticks in my mind is the surprise on Erik's face when he said, "I can't believe that all this time I had a hairpiece." That is probably why his hair has always looked so perfect all this time.
Do you know who Noel Nedley is?
Yes, I believe he is a friend of Erik's.
He was Erik's roommate at the Marina City Club. And at that time you were Lyle's roommate at the Marina City Club.
Yes.
And you lived next door to each other.
Correct.
Do you remember conversations with Noel Nedley where Noel Nedley said, "I never could understand why Lyle's hair was always so perfect, nothing ever looked out of place"?
No.
Isn't it true that Noel Nedley made this remark that you are now attributing to Erik Menendez?
No.
And isn't it true that Noel Nedley made this remark after you were all living at the Marina City Club long after the...
No.